Sitting here with me, a friend of Sports Extra, a friend of mine, and a legend around Atlanta when it comes to hockey, Derek Nesbitt. He has been in the hockey market here in Atlanta for 20 years. You used to be the head coach of the Glads. Now you're transitioning more into a front office role. Tell me a little bit about the transition to your new role in the front office.
Yeah, it happened, fairly quick. I think me and our owner, Alex Campbell, kind of discussed it. Talked about, he kind of said, what do you want to do coaching wise? Like, you have a young family. My son just turned 6. He's pretty active in hockey, soccer, just everything. And if you want to pursue this, we can do that. But it's in that business, you have to move on or move laterally, move one way or the other, or it's just a tough business to stay in. And this being home makes it even harder to say, well, am I going to pick up and leave for 7 months away from my family? I didn't know if I was in a spot to want to do that. And he had talked about a role that we could discuss the front office where we've had a business partner in our organization that we're kind of branching off from and kind of creating our own front office. And part of that was some gaps to fill and different things we could do, and it offered, for me and my family, like stability and staying at home. And I got it, the more I think talking about it, I got excited about being involved in, again, the community with the title of it, but it's something we need. We need to do that, whether it's getting community involved in us, getting our guys out there more in the community, and myself, and then on our front office and it is it's a transplant crew. Like, not everyone from our front office is from here or has been here, so they're new, which I guess leads to me where having a constant and someone that's been here a long time. With Alex said that it benefits us in helping them get ingrained in the community as well.
Director of Community Engagement. You're going to be really good at that because you've been here for 2 decades. You've been here as a player, as an assistant coach, as a head coach, and now moving into the office space. In all of your time playing and coaching, how do you think that's going to help you transition into this role and get you guys out there more?
Yeah, even like the playing coaching side, but more like living here. Like, this has been home. Like that's the biggest part. And you still see, the same faces around the rink that, like, a lot that even from when I played, like, their season tickets are in the same spot. You look left of the bench, there's Buddy and Gigi that own Bare Bones up in Buford that are long time, I think, season ticket holders from the start, and they've sat there forever and big supporters of the team, and they're always waving when you come on and off. And it's people like that, I think, that you got to know, and then being involved in youth hockey for years, now my son being involved in it, just getting to know the other rinks in town, the guys that run those rinks that I've developed relationships with, and that's stuff that we need to be more involved with. And then that all just kind of branches out to other people, even within those programs that do other things that want to support and that we want to support right back.
There's no better time to be a part of hockey than right now. The excitement around the league is mind-blowing. You've seen it. You've been around the game literally your entire life.
Yeah.
You're from Canada, so naturally it comes into that, just being born there. But now that you see the interest happening in this country at a rate that we haven't in the past, how exciting is it just to be a part of that in a state where it's growing at a pretty fast pace? Yeah,
I agree. I think, you probably agree too. I think we've talked about that, but I think that Four Nations really just sparked a lot of interest. When that went on break, it was at I think it was the perfect time in sports in the country where it gets a little slower with football getting down to it, in playoffs or at the end of it. And I think as exciting as it was with the Canada-US games and obviously their preliminary game with the fights and like, listen, that's part of the game, and it's always going to be, and it's not in other games. So do we want that to be what the game? No, not necessarily, but it is part of the game. We can't ignore that.
Generated interest.
And it generated interest. All press is good press, I guess, right? So it worked out well, and then it was the best hockey anyone's seen since, I guess it would be the last time the NHL in Sochi, maybe, when the NHL participated in the Olympics. Well, now that's coming again, so that's sparking more. So it's garnering a different crowd of it's just sports fans, right? If you're into the Olympics, hockey's a pretty big sport in the Winter Olympics, so you're going to pay attention to that. When it's the best on best, truly, it filters down through every level, and like you said, it's sparking people's interest in the game and seeing what it's about. And when you can see it firsthand at any different level, but it's still exciting.
Because you've lived here as long as you have, and you have relationships with so many different people in Georgia now, you're having conversations a lot with football fans. Oh, I only watch football. This is a football state. I'm sure you've turned a lot of people on to watching hockey at this point. How do you get more of those people in the building and to open their eyes to a sport that, in my opinion, is somewhat similar when it comes to the physicality of it?
Yeah, it is. Probably a different pace to it because it is constant. It's not play after play like football is. But yeah, obviously the physicality side, it's not as much of a TV sport for someone that hasn't watched it, right? So yeah, it's you have to get them there. So how do we? Yeah, it is. How do we get them there? Well, you see some of that stuff on TV, through social, whatever it is, and that stuff. They were like, I want to go see this in person. Well, if you come to a game, I always tell people, if you're going to come to the game for the first time, it's sit right against the glass one period, sit right in the middle one, and then or sit at the top. Then you kind of see you can relate it to other sports. You can see the physicality and the speed if you sit right there. When you sit way up high, then you can see almost like the soccer, basketball aspect of how plays are being made and how it is. Yeah. It is more structured that way, and then you kind of sit in the middle and take it all in and get the full experience of it. But I think it's Jared Youngman in our office who came to us from Utah, kind of heading up our office now. I think one of the things he always says is everyone's a hockey fan, they just don't know it yet. And I believe that. I think it's hard to bring someone to a game to think that they're going to go out of there going, that was boring. Like there's not a chance. You grew up in South Florida. Yeah. It's stuck with you at a young age, and it's because you went to a game and saw it, and then you can get appreciation for it on TV. But I think until you come and see it, it's hard to truly understand what it's like.
How many times do you meet people and they say, "This changed for me. I'm a hockey fan"? Oh,
there's so many. There's so many of them. I know, and it is a transplant city, so you are seeing a lot of people from the Northeast, the Midwest, that have moved down here. But there's so many down here that just like and the way they relate it differently, like it is at quicker pace. Like I can't go to the bathroom. I can't go get a beer. I can't go to get a popcorn. I can't leave until that TV timeout or the intermission. Then I'm running and I'm trying to get back there. Yeah. So yeah, it's very often, and you see that through. And then you see the people in the youth programs that got their kids into it but they don't know, but they saw a game and they were like, Mike brought my kid, he wanted to do it, and or they're pushing them to try it because they want to be around it because they enjoyed it. They thought this would be a really cool thing for my son or daughter to do. So you do see a lot of that with them, and they're very open to like, tell me about it. Like I want to know more. Help and with the programs around here, that's why they are like, go play and let them teach you. I just want to absorb it from here.
So before I transition to why the NHL would work in this city, which I know we've talked about in the past, but talks are heating up, so I do want to revisit that. It's natural that you have a lot of love for the Gladiators, seeing as though we keep mentioning the fact that you've been here as long as you have, but your jersey is up there. It's retired. You played 512 games in the Gladiators uniform, which I'm sure doesn't feel like that to you. It went by quick.
Pretty great, yeah.
You can see it on your head. Yeah. No, but it's normal to have a love for something when you're in it for that long. But why are you so passionate about the Gladiators?
I came here, my rookie year here was in 2005, which was the third year the team was here. They moved here 2003, 2004. The Thrashers were here. And that was a big draw for me that brought me here. I was like, we get to practice at the same rink as the Thrashers do. And to me, it was just like, okay, well, their eyes are going to be on me. So whether it's a naive way of thinking or not, but they're here. You're affiliated with them. You're the ECHL affiliate of them. That sparked my interest. That's a main reason why I wanted to come down here. And then that was the year coming out of the full lockout where we lost the season. Yeah. So even more exciting, that was back, and you could feel that buzz of that being back. And but we had a lot of that too. And I don't know if it was because I wasn't here the year before with no NHL. I know they did really well, but it grew from there. So I've seen, call it the best of times here and probably the worst of them. And And I get the economy goes through, and that's a lot of different factors to that, right? Or why people can get out, why people can do things, what becomes affordable, what doesn't. But I want to see it back to that, right? Like it's a place and people that took me in as one of their own. In all honesty, it sounds cheesy, but it really is. When you look around, I said that the people that are still there and that support us in the Booster Club and season ticket holders and still events that we go to, and it's so familiar. Being from a small town in Ontario of 2,000-3,000 people, that you're probably always looking for smaller communities within a bigger one, and I think that's probably what's made that home for me is once you get to the rink, you be in Gas South and the same people there is a sense of home there for me, and they want to see it succeed. You want to bring more people out, and anyone you talk to, like still being in touch with former staff members that have been here, former players, like all people that love their time here and still want to help out. Hey, like, and you talk to like Steve Chapman, who was a president here from 2003 to 2015 and is with the St. Louis Blues high up in their front office. Like he's still willing. He's like, hey, if like anyone in there wants to talk to me, reach out. Like anything I can do to help that continue to grow and be better. He knows it's good for this league in a market like this and wants to help. So there's plenty of them of people out there like that. And so, bringing people in, trying to get them to see it, good place to live. It's for all ages of different things. And as you know, this city, there's tons to offer.
Yeah.
So just, again, I just want to see it on the uprise. Anything I can do, and as far as playing, coaching, whatever the role is, I just, I want to do whatever it is that I can contribute best to making this better.
And you and I have mentioned people that have been here in the past through the NHL loved living here. They wanted to be here for a really long time.
Yeah.
And so when the franchise exited the city for a second time, when another franchise left, it was devastating for those players who wanted to be here and owners and presidents and all of that. But the fact that there is conversation that the NHL could potentially make a return to the Atlanta metro area is incredible for so many reasons, not just for you and I who are hockey fans, but it can grow youth hockey, it can help the ECHL, it can help a lot of things in this community, and we're a big market without an NHL team. I gave a lot of the reasons why it makes sense, but what's your reasoning why the NHL should dip their toes in the waters here for a third time?
Yeah, obviously it's one of the biggest cities in the country, right? As far as the corporate side goes, there's financially, it makes a ton of sense to be here, right? Now, if you get the right ownership and you get the right location, to me, has always been, I think, the biggest thing here. I think we've seen it with the Braves as of recent. I mean, I went to a lot of games at Turner, like awesome stadium, great. A lot of history there with the Fulton County Stadium, literally the parking lot next to it, and then moving right to next door. But you can't beat the Battery for a ball game. Like, I mean, that's just blown up. So I think you can create the same thing for hockey, which a lot of the NHL team and any sports arenas are doing now. You're creating a community around the rink that it's a one-stop shop for everyone, for all ages, different family atmosphere. Whether it is college age students with bars there that could, restaurants, shops, living, apartments, whatever it is. Like I said, it's got to be kind of a one for all, and everything's doing that now, like the Battery did. I think if that's what I think would help a lot in the initial stages of it. You mentioned they grow youth hockey. They've done it in Dallas. They've done it anywhere in California, in LA. They've done it in Florida.
Yeah.
All of these markets that are now, exploding with youth programs and kids being drafted out of those cities because dad stayed there and grew a family there. And look at obviously Kachuk brothers, for instance, in St. Louis, right? Which that market just blew up with youth hockey's phenomenal there. But it took time, and that's not even Deep South. That's not I wouldn't call it a non-traditional, especially now, but it was obviously at one point being a Midwest town. But you'd see that here, but they have to get involved and have to ingrain themselves in that and really take over.
And the conversation that hockey doesn't work in the South is so old now. It just means people aren't paying attention because some of the best teams in the NHL are in southern cities. Look what Carolina is like and the Hurricanes and what they've built. I won't bring up the Panthers because everybody knows that's my team, but it is possible here, and I think it would do very, very well here. And bringing it back to the ECHL and you guys, when you have Thrashers nights, that building is sold out. It's crazy.
Yes. So, and that's part of my that's where I get going. Part of my problem is, like, I've said this is right. We had I think we had 17,000 people here over 2 nights on a Saturday and a Sunday afternoon for the Thrashers weekend. And to me, it's like, I ask people, like, if you're whether you're a NHL fan, loyalist, or we're a Thrashers fan, regardless, you want the NHL to come back here. So, like, you can't kind of sit down and wait for a billionaire to just go, here's your team, now go. How are we going to do? Like, there's going to be eyes on us. There's going to be eyes on the youth hockey to see how it's growing, and if there's attention there, to see if it makes sense and what kind of support. So is it pandering to say, come on out and help us? Yeah. But it's going to help that, right? Like if you are that fan, then why not come out? Like, you enjoyed it. At some point, you're there to see the jerseys, you're there to see the production of nostalgia, but you're still a hockey fan, and you still watch an exciting game, and that's still the draw at the end of the day, was the hockey side. So if we can get more of them to be regulars and constant, and make that, a lot of them will come with their groups of people that sat together, at Phillips Arena back in the day, where they probably come and, well, let's all get together. Well, why don't you guys all get together more often? You obviously had a good time with it. So how do we get that? It's getting them back and being like, if you want the NHL team here, not to use us, but it's only going to help. I don't think it can hurt if you get out and see us more often, and you see that start to grow and blow up a little more, because more eyes will be on it, and it's going to attract it.
Well, we're excited for the passion that you're going to bring to the front office of the Glads. Looking forward to everything that you do with that franchise.
I appreciate it. Thank you.